What fool thing is Johnny doing now? Well, he's writing yet another Lee Hacklin mystery, and this one is called The Old Man at the Club, Chapter 4. I'm sure your mother is very proud of you. She is, I lied. Sorry to keep you waiting. How may I help you? Isn't he polite, Pug? Are you Canadian, Lee? Born and bred in Queens, ma'am. Pug grunted and said, he needs a haircut. I started on coffee, and Eunice broke into tears. My brother was murdered last year. Maybe you've heard of him, Horace Collins. Sure, I'm very sorry for your loss. I went to my desk and handed her some tissue. Thank you, dear. My husband is an investment banker in Manhattan, and I'm a homemaker. My brother was a late bloomer in life. Pug lit a Marlboro and said, rather coldly, I thought, he was a drifter and a layabout and a welfare bum before he turned his life around. Apparently there was no love lost between brother and brother-in-law. Horace isn't here to defend himself, Pug, and yes, he did turn his life around. Dramatically, I'd say. Mr. Hacklin, Lee's fine. Lee, when Horace was 55, he tried to kill himself. The chin-up bar his housecoat belt was tied to slid loose, and he landed on the hardwood floor of his apartment, knees first. They cracked, and he never really recovered from that injury. That experience is what led him to God. Do you believe in God, Lee? It's a hypothetical, but I try to keep an open mind. I suppose that those who believe tend to have a better outlook on life. Horace was working as a toll booth operator at that point in his life. After his failed suicide attempt, he started to eat healthier, and he joined a gym. Land's sakes, he must have dropped at least 100 pounds. Pug snorted. Nobody should be that fat to begin with. Lack of self-control is going to lead this nation to ruin and Soviet conquest. I was starting to sense that Pug Collins was hardly the cheeriest of optimists. Eunice composed herself a little and continued. Horace started to write. He wrote his life story, found a publisher, and it became a bestseller. I said the greatest gift life has to offer is the present. Eunice smiled and said, that's right, Lee. It became an audiobook, and there was a PBS documentary. Horace started to give speaking engagements at colleges and universities all over the country. He became a celebrity. From hero to zero, from zero to hero, was how he put it. Now he's dead. He was 85, but you'd never know it. He had a few good years left, and they were taken from him at that damn nightclub. I remembered hearing about this and said, the Empire State Palace. I'd been there a few times. It was maybe 10 blocks from here. It was a vast 3-level discotheque that catered to the young and the beautiful and the entitled. They went to drink, dance, and hook up for a night of short-term pleasure and very likely long-term heartache. Eunice wiped her eyes and said, they called Horace the old man at the club. Not always with affection. He went every Saturday night. I asked her, did he ever marry? No, he never had children either. Not safe work. Pug stuck out his pinky and said he was one of those, as sure as Oscar Wilde. Eunice grabbed his ear and gave it a hard twist. It's 1976, you troglodyte. Nobody intelligent cares about that sort of thing anymore. I said, remind me to stay on your good side, Mrs. Collins. I'll take the case. She opened her purse, handed me a photocopy of the police report. Oh, how I love it when clients come prepared, and she wrote me a big fat retainer check. They stood, we shook hands, they left, and I had to resist an urge to rub the check all over my face and kiss it. My phone rang. Richie Rich, the poor little rich boy. Lee Hacklin. And another thing. Hi, Mom. It's Mrs. Hacklin. Slam. It's a first draft. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, God loves you. And so does Johnny. Cheers.